What up, squad? Welcome to the office. And this video starts pretty shitty. So the training week started pretty shitty. So it started with this lower body session right here. I was supposed to myo rep this thing, which I've been using a lot of. I'll have a link below so that you guys could go over myo reps, because this is something you're going to see quite a bit in this video. There's no secret sauce to these things. They just save me time. And especially on movements where I don't necessarily care too much about gaining strength per se, right? You know, and I'm not talking about 1 RMs, but you know, there's certain landmark performances that I want to hit, like 3 sets of 10, you know, 3 sets of 6, 5x5, things like that. Things I don't care too much about, I do the myo reps for. Just gonna do it on this leg press. I do care about how strong I am on this one. I got PRs on this one that I want to break. However, I just didn't have time on this specific day, so I knew it was gonna be a rough day. You could tell by the head shake right there. I get back in. I'm supposed to hit, you know, little clusters of 3 reps, and look what happened, man. I was like, oh man, if this is how the whole week is gonna be, we're gonna have some problems. But it got better. But there you go. It's not always fantastic in my hood. By the way, check out my office. Look at that. That's how we doing it now, man. Anyhow. Went on to have a pretty good leg day at the end. I just ended up having to do straight sets with that leg press instead of, you know, my more in and out method. So on this contraption here, so you know, most laying leg curls, they're kind of like this, right? There's like this little pyramid at the top. I prefer this one if I'm going to have my hips extended, and I try to extend my hips as much as I can. So do this right now. Extend or squeeze your butt cheek, and then try to squeeze your hamstring. Feel that contraction. So squeeze the butt, and then squeeze it. And you see it's a much better contraction. You can't go all the way up because the top side of your hammies tight, contracted there, so you can't go as far with the knee flexion, but it's way better this way. So if you have access to one of those, do that thing. The standing leg curls. So anyhow, this is where it got really good. 295 for 3 sets of 10. That happened last week. Yeah, last week. And this 325 on the good mornings for 3 sets of 6. And on my last one on accident, I got 7 reps. That right away cleaned up my week. So I felt so much better. And I'm like, you know what? We were probably still a little fatigued from what went on the week before, so don't trip, Bert. That's just how it is. But that is something that, again, I want to get better at, is like showing you guys the stuff that didn't go according to plan. And that leg press, boy, did it leave me frustrated. But again, we tend to overanalyze when things don't go according to plan, and then when, you know, things go really well, we're just like, yeah, of course, we deserve this. But a few things that I've been doing is, of late, and I'll get this structured for you guys, because right now the split's all up here. I'm just doing an upper-lower 4 days a week right now. I'm not training 2 consecutive days when I can. Reason for this is I had a get real moment with myself, man. I was like, dude, you're pretty stressed in regards to just like your everyday handles, right? So check this out. That's the last one. I got 7 on that one. And the form is pretty good. It could be a little better, but all in all, I'm pretty pleased with it. But yeah, work is crazy. All these other responsibilities and things that I want to do, and people who I want to be there for. It's just been overwhelming. So training 4 days a week. Sure, I could probably make better progress training, say 5. But the main issue, hair in my face. The main issue is that it's too much right now. And as much as it pains me to say I can't handle what I know I can handle, it's the right thing to do. And that's just me maturing as an athlete. A few years ago, I'd have been like, bro, what are you talking about? Nothing gets to you. But that's not the truth. It's the furthest thing from the truth. In fact, I haven't really even been in the mood to lift weights. But good thing. Oh, this is another PR. We'll get back to that. I like to zone out. I try not to get pumped up. I caught myself getting too pumped up, and then I just go Kevin Durant in the face. And then I kick back. 125s for a set of 6. I felt like I could have gotten the 7th rep had I not thought about it. I thought about it. I had inhibition, and then it didn't go up. And then it got to the point where I'm like, all right, you're about halfway there. since you messed up, misgrooved, your mind wasn't right, if you get this next rep, it's gonna wreck you. So I just folded, and then I moved on I dipped down the load to 115s, and a set of 9 recently I was really pumped about. And the way I moved these 8s, like literally I could have gotten sets of 10 today after the heavy work. So I'm so pleased about that. And again, a lot of this comes from the fact that I am ensuring that I'm giving myself something that I can handle. You know, of course, your training has to be a little bit harder than what you can handle. That's how you get better, right? But right now, had I tried to do what I can when life's a little bit more chill, it would have wrecked me. So again, like even when it comes to my lifting, I show up because I know I need to show up because I know this is what I want. But I haven't been in the I haven't been super pumped about training, to be honest. But I know this is what I want. I know this is good for me. Long term, this is what I want to do. And luckily for me, you don't have to be like in the mood to lift weights in order to get it done. Especially when, again, it's one thing if this isn't what you want, someone's making you do this or you feel pressured into doing this. But for me, it's like, I know this is what I want to do. I know that I want to compete and I want to be like really fucking good in a few years here when I'm ready to. I want to make big improvements into my physique, so I need to show up and get it done. And that's what I've been doing. And at the end, I'm glad that I showed up, I got it done, and I'm rewarded. The last 2 reps were nasty. And you're gonna see same thing here. I got 2 reps in here where it should have been done. It should have been done because of the forward head thing. So to me, failure is not like when you can continue until you can stop getting ugly reps. And failure is when you break form. And on the pull down, I did this thing, my chest was kind of caving in, lats are not in a strong position to do work. And then on this one here at the end, this is something that you'll see especially with cable rows. What people will do is do the forward head as they finish off the movement. And that's kind of what I did here. So for the most part, I try to keep the double chin going, the neck pack, and I just feel more of a contraction, especially in my traps, my rhomboids, right in between the scaps. Feels so much better when I do that. But here at the end, look at that, cheater, bro. So anyhow, that was still a good set, but both of those were good sets. But nevertheless, yeah. Sometimes I gotta watch myself, which is another reason why I love to record myself, because sometimes you don't realize you're doing what you're doing. Okay, so this is probably gonna be the most complex kind of lesson in this video. So with lateral raises, when I'm going high rep, I encourage people to basically stop down to about navel level. And this is gonna make more sense if you see my other videos on lateral raises, whether it be on this channel or whether it be on Omar Isof's channel. You just put in YouTube. On YouTube, you put Alberto Nunez lateral raise, some stuff will come up. But typically, what I have people do is I'll have them stop where their hand is at about navel level. And this is just to ensure that some of the other tissues in their shoulders, some of the rubbery ones that are not muscle, are not taking over and assisting on getting the weight to point B. When it's heavy, and heavy is about this rep range, I think I got about 10. This is a 40-pound kettlebell. When it's heavy, I actually allow myself to do that. And this is just simply to keep the shoulders healthy. So for heavy lateral raises, I'll go all the way down, catch you guys ever done like suitcases where you're like holding weights to your sides and doing something like walk? Well, it's good for your shoulders in that it helps strengthen a lot of the structures that help keep the shoulders in the socket. And shoulders also happen to be one of the most volatile areas in people who've been lifting weights for a long time. So I do this to keep it healthy, to keep my shoulders healthy, and I'm okay with a little bit of a stretchy rebound from other tissues outside of the muscles that I'm trying to hit. However, I do not recommend that most people who have not mastered the lateral raise go heavy on it. I go heavy on it because I've mastered it at this point. I'm pretty sure I have. And so I allow myself to get into the 10 rep range, but usually 15 to 20, that's where you want to do the majority of your work. And that's why, again, I'm kind of going against what I might have recommended in other videos. So just throwing that out there. And for those of you guys who have kept up with it, now you know. So anyhow, great week. Hey, 2 straight weeks I'll see you guys here next week. I bet you next week will be pretty good too.